Okay, good morning, friends. In the last two classes, we discussed about what is agricultural meteorology, what are different types of soils that are commonly considered as useful for crop production, and what are manures and fertilizers. And we also discussed about the tillage and various implements that are used in tillage and the tilth and weeds, nature of the weeds, characteristics of the weeds, classification of weeds, and the weed control. And also, we also discussed about the cropping patterns or the cropping systems that are generally in practice in India and other countries. So this is under black one. So we have already two blacks are there in crop production. Black one is soils, soil fertility, tillage, and weed control. We discussed about that. Now the second block consists of crop production. In this, there are almost 12 to 15 units are there. And in today's unit and today's class will discuss about 3 units. One is about what we call the cereals. We'll discuss about cereals. We'll also discuss about millets. So today's class about staple food of human beings. It could be cereals and millets. And tomorrow's class will discuss about pulses and also oil seeds. In the first week of February class, we'll discuss about cash crops. We'll discuss about sugarcane, cotton, tobacco, and the spices such as chilies, ginger, coriander, etc. In the last class, we'll discuss about orchards, that is fruits, fruit-yielding plants, especially mango, citrus, cashew nut, coconut. Okay, now with this introduction, let us begin cereals. Now cereals, as you know, there are 6 cereals. Cereals are 6: rice, wheat, maize, barley, oat, and rye. These 6 are considered as cereals. And there are many cereals. I mean, millets, cereals are only 6. Millets are many, but we have 4 to 5 types of millets are there for us in syllabus. One is sorghum, bajra, ragi, and korra. These 4 are there. We'll discuss, we'll learn about what are millets and how do, why do people are after millets after tasting all these years, depending on, millets for their staple food. Okay, now we'll begin with rice. Rice, as you know, is the most important crop. It is the most important food crop of mankind. And you'll be surprised to know that more than 60% of the population, 55 to 60% of the world population depend directly or indirectly on rice. Rice is the staple food for more than 50% of the world population. You may say, if you consider in terms of number of countries, in number of countries, wheat may be the staple food. But the two most populous countries of the world, China and India, here the staple food is rice. So that's why rice accounts for staple food of more than 50% of the world population. Now, rice, as you know, rice has the long history. The rice has a long history running for more than 4,000 or 5,000 years. Since times immemorial, when man has learned this agriculture, he started cultivating, of course, wheat, maize, sorghum more particularly, wheat, sorghum, other millets, including rice. Cultivation of these crops is known to mankind for centuries. Now, coming to the types of soils, rice can be grown in all types of soils. All types of soils are suitable for rice growth, provided you have assured water. If you have assured water, maybe in the form of tanks, canals, borewells, wells, whatever the case may be, if the assured water is there, one can take up rice cultivation. Of course, another very good characteristic feature of rice is that you can grow even it as a dry crop. You can grow it as a wet crop and also as a dry crop. That is the beauty of rice. So that's why rice is grown in n number of countries across the world. It is grown. And generally, of all the types of soils, generally alluvial soils, Gangetic, generally deltoic soils, deltas of Ganges, deltas of Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, even Narmada, where alluvial soils exist, their rice cultivation is taken up on large scale. Now, of late, even recently, farmers of Punjab and progressive farmers of India, Punjab and Haryana are also now engaged in rice cultivation because the yield is more, profits are more in rice. The other thing is you can produce multiple crops. That is, you can raise more crops. You can raise more crops. So because of some technical problem was there. So rice, beauty of rice is that because it comes up for harvest within 2.5 to 3 months. So that's why you can raise on the same field more than 3 crops. If assured water is there, you can produce 4 crops in a year. Provided you have assured water, sufficient amount of fertilizers are there, and even plant protection is there, that is chemicals of plant protection are there, better marketing facilities are there, then you can take up rice as a multiple crop. You can raise more than 3 to 4 crops in a year. Now, coming to, so rice can tolerate pH from 4.5 to 6.5 or so. All types of soils. Because of that, it is suitable for many types of soils. Now, generally, rice is grown as an upland and also as a lowland, that is dry crop and also as a wet crop. Dry crop, generally where the irrigation facilities are not available, there farmers go for rainy crop. When there are early showers, what they do, they prepare their field in advance. When there are light showers, then they soak the seed for 24 hours or so. Then they spread the seed in the field which is already ready for sowing. So because this is taken up in rainy season starting from June, June to August or September, rains are available because of southwest monsoon is very vigorous. There you can take up upland cultivation of rice. But mostly our farmers are cultivating rice in wetlands. For wetland cultivation, what you need is you have to prepare your land in advance, deep ploughing, and then leveling. After that, you make bunds. Then you clean all the edges or the bunds so that there are no weeds. Weed infestation is not there. Then you flood that field, that plot. You flood that. Then using tractor or what we call bullock drawn implements, you can make what we call puddling. This is in Telugu what we call jambu. So by doing this puddling, by flooding, then that field becomes very easy for transplantation to take place. So before you do that, what we have to do is you have to raise the seed bed. You have to raise nursery. For nursery production, choose a plot and add fertilizers, and then put the seed over that and water it, so that in 3 weeks time, your seedlings of 15 centimeters, and at the 6 leaf stage, the transplants are ready for transplantation. So in advance, you prepare the seedlings, then you go for preparation of the land, then you employ laborers, or you can use tractors and go for transplantation. Now it has shown that the yields in transplantation is more when compared to the other practices of dribbling or drilling or spreading. Why? Because while doing transplantation, you concentrate on ideal spacing. The space between two hills will be ideally maintained, so that you will see big tillers and the panicles will be coming up in large numbers, and seed filling will be there, and you get good yields. So, and coming to the fertilizers, it shows good response for fertilizers. If you give fertilizers, all nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. Generally, nitrogen is given. So the nitrogenous fertilizers, generally nitrogen fertilizers are given in splits, whereas potash and phosphorus are given. So while during puddling only, you can put the required phosphates and potash at one dose, but this nitrogen has to be given in splits. So at the puddling time, one dose, and when the plant, when tillering starts after transplantation, 2 or 3 weeks of transplantation, you give the second dose. Generally, at the milking stage, then you give the third dose. Generally, what you have to do is see that weed infestation is kept at minimum. Generally, in wetland cultivation, wet cultivation, generally seed menace will be very, very less, because you are preparing puddling. In that time, there can't be any weed left. So that's why weed infestation is very minimal at wet cultivation, whereas in upland cultivation, the weed menace is there. Now, the rice, it is very sensitive to what we call moisture stress. Moisture stress should not be there after transplantation, when tillering stage, and when panicle, and also at milking stage. These are the very sensitive stages. One has to be very careful, see that crop does not suffer from any water stress in those times. Now, coming to the Oryza sativa, what we call a member of Graminaceae. Now, this Oryza sativa, there are 27 species are there of this. There are only 2 species which are very popular and which are under cultivation. One is Oryza sativa, the other is Oryza glaberrima. Now, there are 3 important lines or varieties in rice. One is what is called indicas, japonicas, and javanicas. These are the 3 important types. Indicas, generally in Indian subcontinent, India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. These are the areas where indicas are very popular. Now, indicas are generally traditional varieties which are very tall, leafy, profuse tillering will be there, and they are late maturing, and they are prone for lodging. That is because they grow very big, taller. When there is a gust of wind, when the almost when crop is ready for harvest, during that place, if there are rains and gust of winds, there is every possibility for the lodging, falling of this standing crop. So farmers will be put to maximum loss when lodging occurs. So now the other negative part of this indicas is that they do not show what we call good response to the fertilizer. And the other thing is they show dormancy. These are the 2 negative points as far as the indicas are concerned. But the thing is, you will get at least average yields are assured for the farmer. Now coming to japonicas, as the name tells you, these are popular in Japan area, and these are short and sturdy, and generally the leaves are very narrow and photoinsensitive. They are photoinsensitive and they are early maturing, and they show good response to the fertilizer. If you add more and more fertilizer, of course that doesn't mean adding extra. If you use sufficient amount of fertilizer, you will get better yields. So good response for fertilizer is shown in japonicas. Now coming to javanicas, javanicas are also very similar to japonicas, which are very short and sturdy and early maturing, photoinsensitive, and no dormancy is there. And only one negative character as far as javanicas and japonicas are concerned is they are not fine rice. They are not fine rice, and generally people, especially people in South India, they don't prefer them. They are sticky, and even the caryopsis has awns. These are the negative points as far as javanicas and japonicas are concerned. See, all over the India, all over the world, there are 10,000 rice varieties are there, and in India we have a germplasm storage of around 4,000, which is preserved in CRRA, that is Central Rice Research Institute, which is located at Cuttack in Orissa. Now coming to the diseases, generally pests and diseases. So generally it suffers from what we call gall midge, and yellow stem borer is there, gall midge is there, leaf roller. These are some of the pests that are very common on rice, and they cause a lot of damage if they are not checked. In addition to pests, certain diseases are also common on rice. The important ones are, for example, blast of rice, Pyricularia oryzae, and brown spot of rice, what we call Helminthosporium oryzae, and bacterial blight, Xanthomonas campestris oryzae is the what we call bacterial blight. And the last one, virus, is Tungro virus. Tungro virus also causes disease on rice. And all these put together, if they are not checked, if they are not properly controlled, farmers will be put to great losses. So now how to keep these pests and diseases at bay is that practicing, certain cultural practices, especially go for crop rotation and see that weeds are not there. Clean all your hedges, all your bunds, free of any weeds, because weeds are the plants where these pathogens perinate. That forms the inoculum for the next crop. Even these stubs, or the fallen grass, fallen fodder, leaves, etc., they are to be completely either buried deep in the soil or they are to be burned. By doing that, by practicing these things, we can check the spread of pests and diseases so that farmer gets good crop yield and which will be of remunerative. So this is about rice. Then we move to wheat. Now wheat, wheat is more popular in North India. So wheat, more popular in North India. Even in objective also you'll get why wheat is more popular, or why wheat cultivation is taken up in North India when compared to South India, or why wheat yields are more in North India when compared to South India. Because the climate there is cool and chill. Chill weather and cool weather is very, very congenial for the wheat to grow. So these conditions are prevalent in North India, especially Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar. These are the areas where wheat cultivation is taken up on large scale, and they account for around 90% of the wheat production of India. Now coming to, if you talk of world over, generally in most of the countries wheat is grown. USA is there, Russia is there, Ukraine is there, now Canada, and even France, etc. In European countries also wheat is grown on large scale because the weather is very cool and chilly. That weather is suitable for raising this wheat. Now wheat, whenever we say wheat, what comes to our mind is Green Revolution. Green Revolution first was because of high yielding varieties produced in wheat. The credit for Green Revolution in wheat goes to Norman E. Borlaug. He developed Mexican dwarf varieties, early maturing varieties. Because of his efforts, now we are in, our food stocks are, overflowing as such. We are self-sufficient in food production as far as food production is concerned. Now, once in 60s, 70s, we used to import food grains. Now we have achieved self-sufficiency, and now we are in a position to export food grains to other countries. Whereas in our neighbors, Pakistan, take Pakistan and West Asia, where lot of demand for this food crops is there, and because of Russia and Ukraine, war also, other countries' food stocks are being affected there. So now in wheat, there are three important species of wheat are there. One is Triticum aestivum, Triticum dicoccum, Triticum durum. These are the three varieties, and Triticum aestivum is what we call bread wheat, and Triticum dicoccum is what we call upma. We came, wheat upma that is prepared from Triticum dicoccum, and Triticum durum, from this we get what we call semia. So now coming to wheat, generally the season of wheat is generally, it is a rabi crop. It's not a kharif crop. Say rice is a kharif crop, but wheat is a rabi crop, which is generally produced or sown. Sowing is taken up in the month of October or so. It is grown as a rabi crop. So mostly during kharif, generally farmers in North India, they raise grams, especially green gram or black gram, or what we call jowar, or even pearl millet, etc. Even cotton, they grow. For the second crop, as a second crop, they take up this wheat. But of course, in Punjab, slowly the wheat growing areas are replaced by rice. Okay, so now generally wheat is a rain, rather if assured water is there, generally because it needs at least 6 irrigations. Generally after sowing and when tailoring takes place, and especially when panicle initiation and when milky stage, these are the sensitive for water. During that time, water stress should not be there. And generally, wheat here, wheat nowadays, farmers in North India, they are facing a problem with a weed by name Phalaris minor. Phalaris minor is a weed that is almost threatening the wheat crop. It is growing like our Parthenium. Here, this Phalaris minor is growing on a large scale there. It has become a problem for the wheat growing farmers there. So now, this coming to this production, of course, wheat production will be around 50 quintals per acre. That is there as far as the yield is concerned. Generally, farmers in Punjab and Haryana are getting good yields, and even government is giving remunerative prices. So that's why wheat cultivation is taken up on a large scale there. So now coming to this, sowing, generally after harvest of the first crop, generally farmers plow that, and by using country plows or mechanized plows, then by using this blade harrow, etc., they level it, and they clean the field of the stubbles of the previous crop, and they sanitize the entire field, and then flood it with water, and then they take up this sowing. So here also wheat also shows good response for the fertilizer. Generally, fertilizer is given in the form of splits. Split giving of fertilizer is very good when compared to giving at one dose. Okay, now coming to wheat also suffers from many diseases. Of course, pest menace is very minor. Here, pests are very less, and only white ants, termites are there. They are the only pests that attack wheat, but good number of diseases are there, especially your rust, Puccinia rust is there, and Ustilago smut is there, covered smut, and the kernel smut. These are the smut diseases. If farmer do not pay any attention towards them, the loss could be even 40 to 50% loss will be there. So timely intervention is needed to check the spread of these rust, smuts, etc. So best thing is to check them is to treat the seed treatment. Before sowing the seed has to be treated with various seed dressers, like your sulfur dressing. Thiram is there. With Thiram, you can dress. Thereby, you can check seed-borne diseases. And soil-borne diseases can be checked by keeping the soil sanitation, by removing the stubbles and burying them, or by burning them. You can keep your soil very clean, so that these recurrence of these smuts and pests will be checked. Now, the third cereal is maize. Maize is the third cereal. Close. Maize is the third cereal. That is, maize is Gia maize. As you know, Gia maize is the scientific name. It also comes under what we call Poaceae. And after rice and wheat, this is the third most popular crop across the world. This is grown on large scale in USA, Russia, even Canada, even in European countries. This is taken up on large scale. Even in India, especially in Uttar Pradesh, parts of Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, in South India, especially in Telangana area, in Karnataka, Maharashtra areas, also Tamil Nadu. These are the areas where maize cultivation is taken up on a large scale. Now, this is a dry crop. Maize is a dry crop. Now, it needs what we call medium heavy soils. Black button soils are very good. The soils that have ability to retain the moisture for longer periods are good for this maize cultivation. Now, maize generally, generally it is grown as a kharif crop. Generally, sowing is taken up in June months. if you have water facility, this can be grown throughout the year. So that's why in some areas, the maize crops are available throughout the year. Now, if you go to any mall, if you go to any fresh stores, there you will find sweet corns are available throughout the year. So these corns are of various seven types of corns are there. For example, based on what we call seed size, seed shape, seed color. See, there are flint corn, dent corn, popcorn, sweet corn, baby corn, soft corn, waxy corn. These are some of the varieties of the corn. Generally, a soft corn or flour corn we use, and baby corn, small ones, baby corns are there. Of all, generally we prefer sweet corn. Sweet corn is there, but this flour corn is the corn, as such, in West, in America and other countries, corn is grown mainly to feed their animals and poultry. But in our areas, in third world countries, generally it is also used as a food. But popcorn is there. Now, if you go to any mall and exhibition, there you will find popcorn. So this corn, corn from that corn is very nutritious, and the carbohydrate and protein and fat contents are in good proportion. They have a good amount of minerals are also there. So that's why in West, it is used as a feed for the cattle and poultry. But in India, your bread made of wheat is also used, and corn flour is used in various food preparations. Then, coming to the diseases and pests, corn is prone for many pests and diseases, and good pests, popular pests are stem borer is there, shoot fly is there, cornworms are there, white grubs are there. These are some of the pests that cause a lot of damage to the maize crop in all the maize growing areas. The important diseases of the maize are downy mildews caused by sclerospora members, and stalk rot, which is caused by Erwinia species, and rust, Puccinia sorghai, Puccinia maydis, they cause rust, and Ustilago maydis causes what we call smut of maize. So these are the, and we have even recently virus diseases are also noticed on maize. Maize mosaic virus is there. It causes mosaic spots on the maize leaf. So this is about maize. So maize is mostly grown as a dry crop. But if rains are not there for a longer time, the yield suffer. That's why if a shoot water is there, well water or otherwise, if you give 1 or 2 irrigations during sensitive period, then you will get good yields. So this is about what we call about cereals. Cereals are popular. Your rice is popular, wheat is popular, so also maize. So of the 6 cereals, we have only 3 in our syllabus. Okay, then we move to millets. Now millets, now millets in syllabus we have sorghum, we have bajra, we have ragi, we have korra. So these are the 4 millets that are there included in our syllabus. Now we will begin with sorghum. Sorghum, sorghum vulgare is the scientific name of sorghum, and is a member of OAC. And like your maize, this is also a dry crop. And when compared to maize, it has the ability to withstand drought times. So that's why in most of the South India and also in Western Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan, parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and in parts of Madhya Pradesh, of course, Maharashtra, Karnataka, even Telangana, these are the areas where sorghum cultivation is taken up on a large scale. No, Africa. where the sorghum cultivation is taken up on a large scale. Why? Because this is a drought-resistant crop. Even if there are no rains for 2 or 3 weeks also, it can sustain, it can withstand. So that's why, and even the light soils, laterite soils, sandy soils, chalca soils, in them also you can grow sorghum. Now, this sorghum also, now sorghum varieties are now available, which are suitable both for Kharif and also Rabi. Generally, Rabi cultivation is taken up where in black cotton soils, where moisture retaining capacity is more, where assured water is there. In those areas, you can take up what we call Rabi crop. Generally, 80% of the sorghum is sown only as a Kharif crop, and generally sowing is done in the month of starting in the month of June. Generally, as far as sorghum is concerned, you should not sow it a bit late. If you sow late, your sorghum crop suffers from various pests and diseases, and your production gets diminished to a remarkable content. So that's why early sowing has to be taken up. So that's why in dry areas, farmers, take up the land preparation in the month of May only, and they'll wait for early showers. When there are early showers, because the field is ready, they go for this drilling, or by using seed drillers, generally seed, or by dibbling method, this sorghum sowing is taken up for the using the moisture of the early showers. Now it comes for our traditional varieties, traditional varieties of sorghum. They are long, they are late maturing. They may take, some 150 to 160 days. But now we have, CHS5, CHS 7, CHS 10. These are some of the high yielding varieties, short duration varieties. They come for harvest within 90 days or so. So 90 to 120 days, you can get these high yielding varieties for harvest. So now these maize, once this sorghum used to be called as what we call poor man's diet. Poor man's diet, people used to call it. Some 30 to 40 years back, people across Telangana, people used to take this sorghum cultivation on a large scale, and even they used to take this as a staple food. Now, after the government intervention and 2 kg rice, thereafter the area under cultivation of sorghum got drastically reduced. Now, if you go to even rural areas also, you don't find a sorghum cultivation. Now, sorghum has become a rare commodity now, but its demand has gone up. Now, why? Because now most of the people suffering from, diabetes and heart ailments, generally doctors are advising the people to take up this millet cultivation, etc. Especially the sorghum, the pearl millet, the ragi, and korra. Now, millet festivals are being organized now, millet dosas are there, millet idlis are there, because they are rich in minerals, calcium, phosphorus, very rich, in vitamins, very rich, and their fat content is very low. Even carbohydrate and protein content, when compared to other crops, it is healthy. So that's why doctors advise people suffering from diabetes and heart ailments to go for this millets. So that's why now the cost of sorghum has gone up. Now, once they used to get a 10 rupees a kg. Now in market it is first quality or good quality sorghum will get you only at 70 rupees a kg or 80 rupees a kg. Now, sorghum, whenever we speak of sorghum, Rabi crop, generally it is grown in black cotton soils where moisture retention is more, especially in parts of Maharashtra, in parts of Karnataka. Parts of Maharashtra, parts of Karnataka, and SY Rangareddy and Vikarabad. These are some of the areas where the Rabi sorghum cultivation is taken up on a large scale, and high quality sorghum is available in Tandoor, market. Tandoor market of Vikarabad is famous both for this red gram and also for this sorghum, first quality sorghum. So sorghum, not only gives you food, but forage. The forage, that is, it used as a good fodder. Cattle prefer this sorghum stalks as food. They are tasty, and generally in areas where sorghum is cultivated, cattle are fed with this sorghum forage. Now, sorghum also shows what we call good response for the fertilizer. If you have, farmyard manure or compost, etc., you can mix. You can add to the field, and by using ploughing and blade harrow, you can make a thorough into the soil, and then you take up the sowing of this. Now, coming to the diseases, generally it suffers from many diseases. Generally, grain smut is there, cover smut, loose smut is Sphaerotheca sorghum is there. Loose smut is caused by what we call Sphaerotheca cruenta is there. Puccinia purpurea causes rust and sorghum, and downy mildew, Sclerospora sorghum causes downy mildew and green ear like diseases, and ergot disease, and sugary disease. And the sorghum is common, caused by Specialia sorghum. Honey like juice will be emitting from the sorghum, from the stem and the leafy areas. And if that happens, generally on that sugary areas, you will see very smuts, especially smut growing, and they in turn reach the ear, and there you will see infestation of these smuts in the ear region. And with the infestation of this covered smut or loose smut, farmers lose loss could be to the tune of 40 to 60% or so. Now, in addition to this, the main pests are generally sugary disease, I told you, generally, and shoot fly is there, stem borers are there, midge is there, earhead. These are some of the pests that are common on this sorghum. Now, in exam, they will ask you, the method of preparing hybrid varieties. Generally, in here we have two strains. One is male sterile is there, and what we call and sterility restorer are there. Generally, sterile ones are sown in 4 to 6 rows. They are alternated with fertility restorer ones, so that the here because male sterile one is there, it needs pollen from outside. So here by growing fertility restorer lanes beside these sterile areas, there you will giving a possibility for the transfer of the pollen from the male restorer ones onto the inflorescence of or ears of sterile ones. So thereby, with this crossing, you get high yielding varieties. Then we move to what we call ragi. It is otherwise known as finger millet. Eleusine coracana is the scientific name of ragi. When compared to all other, ragi is the most important as far as health is concerned. Most important because very rich in calcium, very rich in phosphorus. It is good even for the children and also old age people, and very good for the diabetic patients. So that's why this ragi has become very popular. If you speak of United Andhra Pradesh, generally Rayalaseema area is very famous for this ragi cultivation. There it forms the staple food for people there. And even if you go to Karnataka area also, their ragi is very popular. Even in parts of Mahbubnagar and Gadwal areas, their ragi is very, very popular because it is highly nutritious. It's very highly nutritious. And here, unlike other millets, this can be grown like your rice, both as an upland and also as lowland. You can in Kharif season it can be grown as a rainy crop or upland crop. When assured water is available, you can raise seed bed and you can take up what we call transplantation. Thereby, you can get second or third crop like your rice. So now seeds are very small. That's why generally by using driller or by raising nursery, transplantation is taken up, or by spreading is also spraying or spreading are the other methods of seed sowing as far as this ragi is concerned. So broadcasting method, drilling, dibbling, and transplanting. These are the 4 methods that are generally taken up as far as ragi is concerned. Now last one is korra, what we call foxtail millet. It's known as foxtail millet or otherwise known as Citeria italica. Its scientific name is Citeria italica. It is also a member of Graminae. And generally it's when it ear, when it is filled with grain, it bends like this. It looks like a tail of a fox. That's why it's known as a foxtail millet. Is drooping like this, drooping. And generally seeds are very, very small. Like your ragi seeds are very small. And the ragi seeds, of course, they are brown or blackish in color, brown. And whereas this korra, what we call Citeria italica, the seeds are golden color, very small and golden color. And generally, this is taken up in the soils which are not very hard, very heavy. In light soils, drought-prone areas, generally this korra cultivation is taken up. And here, yields also very good yields you get. And generally, beforehand, generally it can be taken up as a rabi crop. It can be taken up as a rabi crop. So generally, sowing is taken up in the first week of October to the third week of October. Generally, it is an early maturing. It takes just within 2.5 to 3 months, you get this korra for harvestation. So generally, either it can be grown as a solo crop, and similarly, even in jowar also, it can be grown as a solo crop, or it can be grown as a mixed crop. Especially in sorghum, generally the practice is they grow 4 or 5 lines sorghum, then 1 line of this red gram, PGNP, what we call. So Kajanas Kajan is after every 6 rows of sorghum, 1 row of this PGNP is planted so that by the time you harvest your sorghum, then your this PGNP comes for flowering, then it spreads and you get a second crop. So like this, an assured income for the farmer by taking up what we call this multiple or mixed cropping, more at a time, either in different rows or in mixed. It can be grown even as a mixed cropping, or some cases, even the sorghum is grown along with green gram or black gram. So also this korra, what we call Citeria italica, it is grown as a mixed crop, mixed with jowar or castor and pulses. Castor, generally, even in pulses, mixed crop as a along with the pulses, or in extreme cases, it can also be grown with korra and cotton. So this is what we call about millets and cereals. So to sum up, cereals, 6 are there, but in syllabus we have only rice, we have wheat, we have maize. And coming to these millets, we have only 4 millets that are there, and a popular one is your sorghum. Second one is pearl millet. See, pearl millet is bajra. Pearl millet is what we call bajra, and Penicitum typhoideum. Penicitum typhoideum this is a very hardy crop, and generally large areas of Rajasthan and Western Uttar Pradesh are under bajra cultivation, and even in our area in Telugu states, generally Mahbub Nagar and other areas where light soils are there, where drought prone areas are there, there this bajra cultivation is taken up, where this bajra cultivation is taken up. So as the seeds look like pearls, in the ear, that's why it's known as pearl millet, Penicitum typhoideum, another member of what we call graminae. Now here also it is very, very rich. Generally, it is used in making breads. Bread made of bajra is very, very tasty. And this is mostly grown as a kharif. But if water is there, water facilities are there, you can also raise rabi and also summer crop. Generally, sowing is taken up by drilling, dibbling methods. And in some areas, even this can also be in irrigated areas, this can be grown as a third crop also, if assured irrigation is available. So as far as pearl millet is concerned, now like your ragi, like your bajra, like your sorghum, these three are now very, very popular millets, especially suitable for people suffering from heart ailments, people suffering from diabetes, are advised to take these millets in their food. And doctors advise, to reduce the consumption of rice and wheat and go for these millets. So millets, digestion is very slow, release of glucose into the bloodstream very, very slow, and rich in calcium, rich in phosphorus, rich in other essential nutrients for health of human kind. And even the forage, millets, your sorghum, and also the forage of bajra, even forage of korra. These are taken by the cattle as a preferred food for them. Very tasty for them. They take up this with preference. So this is about the cereals and millets. And if you have any doubt, you can raise your doubts. And in tomorrow's class, we'll discuss about the pulses. We discuss about the pulses. We'll discuss also about the oil yielding plants. See, in this class, we discussed about carbohydrates. So our food contains primarily carbohydrate, protein, and fat. So we discussed about carbohydrate-rich crops. All your wheat, your maize, rice, millets, all these are rich in carbohydrates. So in tomorrow's class, we discuss about pulses, which are rich in proteins. We also discuss about the oil-yielding plants, especially the groundnut. We'll also discuss about safflower. We'll also discuss about sunflower. So black gram, green gram, red gram, and Bengal gram. These are the grams we are going to discuss in tomorrow's class. If no doubts, let us call it a day. Let us close for today. Okay, shall we close? Any doubt? Okay, no doubt. Let us call it a day.